If you're new or you're unsubscribed and you've been watching my videos and you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, like the video, do all that kind of fun stuff. It helps me. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That is a big goal of mine. I'm going to be taking that goal very seriously. So if you like what you see, you like sports, you like basketball specifically, and I make videos about that all the time, and you like what you see, just feel free to subscribe. Also, I don't know what else to say. Let's just start talking about James Harden. James Harden, very clearly in my time, has very much become a hated player. Despite what he's been able to do in the court, and then what he's been able to do in the court is amazing, historically great stuff. People don't like him, and I understand why people don't like him. I think it's kind of justified. He complains to the refs, he flops a lot, he gets foul calls a lot, his game is predicated on free throws, so I understand why people don't like him. And the one thing I don't understand, though, is the free throws, honestly, though. Just because of the fact that Allen Iverson was doing it, Dwayne Wade was doing it, Michael Jordan was doing it, Kobe Bryant was doing it. So I don't understand why people are hating all of a sudden James Harden's doing it. This isn't a new thing. Like, James Harden isn't the first person to get to the line a lot. I do understand, though, that people are mad about how he gets to the line. It is annoying. But people also have to understand when you watch him play that he does have a lot of skill. And, you know, he is an all-time great player, regardless of what you think about him getting to the line a lot or getting help from the refs. However, speaking of being an all-time great player, people like to bring up the fact that his stats are inflated by the Mike D'Antoni system. A system that allows him to get out more shots and probably some more assists as well. And I don't agree with this argument at all. And I think that the argument is stupid. I think it's stupid why people bring it up, because it's clearly just brought up to degrade James Harden, and it doesn't even really degrade James Harden. Because when you bring up an argument like this, an argument that implies that a player has his stats inflated by a system, that also means you're implying that he wasn't great without the system. Whether you say it straight up or not, it's true. That's what you are implying, no matter if you want to admit it or not. I'll leave that up to you if you want to admit it or not. So I decided to look into the numbers. His numbers under Mike D'Antoni, which started in 2016 and has gone through 2020. That is 4 seasons, 3 full seasons, 1 half season. And in those seasons, he's averaged 32.4 points a game, 6.7 rebounds a game, 8.8 assists per game on 44, 36, 86 shooting splits. Now, I'm going to look at his numbers in Houston before Mike D'Antoni got there. So that's from 2012 to 2016. He averaged 27 points per game, 5.4 rebounds a game, and 6.6 assists per game. Now, the one thing you may notice is he averages a lot more of everything. More points per game, which is about 5 more. More assists per game, which is about like 2 more. And the rebounds per game, which is about 1 more. And the shooting splits are actually really similar, so there isn't much to worry about. The shooting numbers were going to be the same regardless. Now, the thing is, yes, the stats under Mike D'Antoni are significantly better than the stats without Mike D'Antoni. However, what he did without Mike D'Antoni is still like first team All-NBA caliber wise. He made 2 All-NBA first teams without Mike D'Antoni. He should have made at least another All-NBA team for his 2015-2016 season, when he averaged 29 points a game, 6.1 rebounds per game, and 7.5 assists per game. I believe he got snubbed from an All-NBA team. I think it's kind of BS that he didn't make one, at least make the 3rd team. I thought he was like 2nd team All-NBA that year, but that's besides the point. Both numbers are great, and the thing is I want to talk about is there are numbers that allow like the averages to be higher. And the one I want to talk about is his 2016-2017 season, where he averaged 29 points per game, 8.1 rebounds per game, and 11.2 assists per game, which led the league. That is an outlier season when it comes to the assist. I don't think that the Mike D'Antoni system has affected the assist as much as you would think. I've taken statistics classes before, and I've learned that outliers can sway the results. And yes, while he averaged like 2 more assists per game during his time under Mike D'Antoni, it's really caused by that one outlier season where he averaged 11.2 assists per game. When you look at the other 3 seasons under Mike D'Antoni, so the last 3 seasons basically, he averages 7.9 assists per game. And when you compare that to what he was doing in Houston before Mike D'Antoni even got there at 6.6, and then you even look a little bit further into it and you look at perhaps the last 2 seasons where he averaged around 7.2 assists per game, I don't think this system has as much to do with the passing as you would think in the assist numbers. I just think he had an outlier season under Mike D'Antoni where he was the main point guard. It's clear that those numbers went down once Chris Paul got there and he had a secondary playmaker. I think that one season was more of a result of him being a primary playmaker as far as passing goes, rather than the system itself. Because he averages 7.4 assists per game and 7.5 assists per game over the last 2 years and 8.8 assists per game in his MVP season, which is by far his best season of his career. The scoring numbers I do think are a bit inflated. However, the 36 points per game and 34 points per game over the past 2 years, I do think are a bit inflated. However, I don't think that James Harden wouldn't be able to put up his MVP numbers without a system. Listen, it's stupid to use this argument. And to end it all, I'll explain why in a very simple way, if you haven't been paying attention to this entire video, which I hope you have. The only way this argument works is if James Harden wasn't great without the system. The only reason this argument would work is if James Harden without the system was a 17 to 18 point per game scorer, and all of a sudden he becomes this 30 point per game scorer with the system. But here's the thing, that's not true. And James Harden is great without the system. The numbers back it up, the tape backs it up, everything backs it up that he was great without the system. We can talk about 36 points per game and how those numbers are inflated, but when you compare his MVP season to his best season statistically wise in Houston before Mike D'Antoni got there, there isn't much difference. So yes, his stats were slightly inflated. In fact, they were inflated scoring wise, and honestly, if you look deeper into the assist numbers, they aren't as inflated as you think. But once again, if you think that this argument is valid, that basically means you think James Harden wouldn't be great without the system, which is completely false. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much. It means so much to me, guys. You guys don't understand. But again, thank you. Like and subscribe if you're new. Feel free to leave feedback in the comments section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.